Okay, Unit 1 algebra test. So first things first, it says use the distributive property to solve the following equation. So we have 4 parentheses x plus 2 equals 16. And we remember our acronym, don't cry, my dear. Distribute, combine, move, divide. So we have to distribute first. So 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is positive 8 equals 16. Remember, that was multiply, multiply. So distributing. Combine, well, I don't have any like terms on the left side, so now I move. I have to move whatever doesn't have the letter. So I have my x. I'm going to do minus 8, and I get 4x equals 8. Now I'm done moving, and I have to divide. So divide both sides by 4. I get x equals 2. So I know that B is my answer. Now, I know that you can do this one in the calculator, but number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Problems like those are the ones that you have to show all work for to get full credit on your test. So that is how we're going to find number 1. Let's look at number 2. So again, I'm going to don't cry, my dear. So distribute, I don't have any parentheses, but I do have to combine. So if I look on the left side, I have a P, no letter, no letter. So on the left side, I know I can combine these two. So 6P minus 3P is 3P. I'm going to rewrite it over here. 3P plus 10 equals 37. So now I'm done combining and I have to move just like we did on that one. So minus 10, get 3P equals 27. Divide by 3, and I get P equals, well, if you struggle with math, do the calculator, but I know that 27 divided by 3 is 9. So on that one, 27 divided 3 is 9. So you can use your calculator to check your work, but you still have to do it by hand. Okay, so there is my answer, A. Okay, look at number 3. It says the number of kilograms of water in a person's body varies directly as the person's mass m. If m equals 90 when W equals 60, what is the value of W when m equals? So we're going to build a table. And I know that typically my table is X and Y. But remember, when it says varies directly, whatever comes before that is my Y. It's Y varies directly as X. So it says my W is my Y. So W, and then I know that the person's mass, M, is my X. So if M equals 90, when W equals 60, what is the value of W when M equals 75? So when M equals 75. So first things first, I don't have enough to use my calculator anyway here, but I have to find K. Anytime I see the word varies directly, I have to find K. And we need to remember that K equals Y divide X. So I know that K equals 60 divided by 90. And when I type that in my calculator, I get 60 divide 90. And I get this ugly decimal. So we're going to turn it into a fraction. And I know that K equals 2/3. So once I find K, I know that now I need to find my equation. So Y equals 2/3 X. Because remember, Y equals KX. So now that I know my equation, I need to go back and see what it's asking me. So it says, what is the value of W when M equals 75? Well, M is my X, so I'm going to replace X with 75. Y equals 2/3. X is 75. And now I can just multiply in my calculator. So 2/3 times, 75 is 50. So I know that Y equals 50. and my answer is B. So now if we look at number 4, it's the exact same concept, except this time it tells me X and Y. I don't have to worry about words or any of that. So we're going to build our table. And it says Y varies directly with X, and Y is 84 when X is 16. What is the constant of variation? So I'm just finding K, and I know K equals Y divide X. So I'm going to take my Y, which is 84, divided by 16, and I'm going to see what that equals. So 84 divide 16 equals 5.25. But if you notice, my answers are in fraction form, so we're going to turn it into a fraction, and I get 21 over 4. So 21 over 4. So knowing that, my answer is C. Okay, so let's look at number 5. My answer choices might be in a different order than yours. So just make sure you're picking the same number. Okay, so look at number 5. Y varies directly with X, and Y is 84 when X is 16, so it's the same problem. So we're literally just going to build our equation. And it says, what is the value of X when Y equals 21? So I'm going to replace Y with 21. And then remember, we can treat this just like we did before. We divide. Divide both sides by 21 over 4. That cancels, and I get X equals, so 21 divide 21 over 4, and I get 4. So X equals 4, and so for my paper, that is C. Okay, looking at number 6. Here we have determined the value of m in an equation y equals mx plus b for a line passing through the points. So I'm given my points. I'm going to build a table. I have 12, negative 2, 4, negative 6, and then remember we do bottom minus top. So negative 6 minus negative 2, so we're going to type that in our calculator. Negative 6 minus negative 2, so you see I typed a double negative, and I get negative 4. And then 4 minus 12 is negative 8. So I know that my slope is change in y over change in x. So my change in y is negative 4 over change in x is negative 8. 2 negatives makes a positive, and again, we can type this in our calculator. Negative 4 over negative 8, and I get half, or 1 over 2. So my answer is 1/2, positive 1/2. Okay, so let's look at number 7. It says determine the value of b in the equation y equals mx plus b for a line passing through the points here. Okay, so this one is a good one to do in our calculator. Just like we could have done number 6 in our calculator, but I'm going to show you how to do this one in our calculator. So go to your calculator, type in your 2 points. We're going to build a table. So I know my 2 points were 12, negative 2, and 4, negative 6. And we're going to do our y1 squiggle. So y1 squiggle, mx1 plus b, and it tells me right here. So I know my equation is y equals 0.5x minus 8, but it's asking me just for b, so b equals negative 8. So I know b equals negative 8. Okay, let's look at number 8. It says, a graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. What is the rate of change if y with respect to x for this function? Okay, don't let any of that throw you off. We're looking for rate of change, which is just slope. Okay, so I know I can see it here. So there's two ways to do this. We could build a table. And I know this point is 0, 2. And this point is 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, 2, 3. So I can do top minus bottom minus top. 3 minus 2 is 1. 4 minus 0 is 4. And I do change in y over change in x equals change in y is 1 over 4. So there's my slope. Or you could do rise over run. So I know I'd rise 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would also give me 1 over 4. So I know my slope is 1, 4. Okay, well, let's look at number 9. So I know that I'm given a table, and it says the table shows the profits for the school book fair based on the number of books sold. Based on the table, which equation models the situation? So this is where y1 squiggle is going to come into play. So I'm just going to fix my table. I'm not even going to delete any of that. 100, 250. Now, when I'm putting in stuff in my table, I cannot put dollar signs, just the numbers. You don't need the decimals either because they're whole numbers. 350, 425. I don't even have to retype my y1 squiggle that's already there. So I know that m is 1.5 and b is negative 100. So we're going to put that into an equation. Well, I know I just typed y equals m x plus b. I typed a y1 squiggle, but close enough. So I know my equation is going to be y equals 1.5 x minus 100. So look at number 10. What is the rate of change of the equation below? Well, we know that rate of change is just slope, and that your slope is always touching your x when it's simplified. Well, I want you to realize the only thing that has an x here is this one. So yes, I could combine those, but it's not going to change my slope. So my slope and rate of change is 2.12. Okay, looking at 11, it says based off the graph, which of the following is a true statement? So I know, looking at my graph, 2 centimeters per hour. I have to find my slope. So I can build a table. I know it goes through 0, 0. I also know it goes through 1, 2. So 2 minus 0 is 2. 1 minus 0 is 1. So I know my rate of change is 2. And it's 2, I want you to remember it's y per x. So my y is centimeters, so 2 centimeters per hour. So 2 centimeters per hour is my answer. This is the key thing to remember, y per x. Okay, looking at number 12. It says the following graph models the linear relationship that DJ mark charges based on the time spent DJing. Based of the graph, which of these best represents the rate of change of the amount of time spent with respect to the time spent DJing? So we're just looking for slope. So again, the table. I see that it goes 0, 100. And then at 2, it's 250. So bottom minus top, 250 minus 100 is 150. 2 minus 0 is 2. So I'm going to do change in y over change in x. And that simplifies to 75. I'm going to double check. 150 divided by 2. Yes. So I know that my slope is 75. And then again, y per x. So y is my money. So $75 per hour. Okay, look at number 13. Okay, so it says, which of the following statements are true about the graph? There can be more than one answer. So knowing that, the line represents a direct variation. Yes, it does. The line is proportional. Well, if it has direct variation, then it's also proportional. Line has a negative k-value. Well, if it was a negative k-value, that means it would be a negative slope, but this is increasing from left to right, so that's not true. This is a positive k-value. Constant proportionality of the line is 3 over 1 or 3. That's just a fancy way of saying slope. So if we find 2 points, rise 1, 2, 3 over 1. So my slope is 3 over 1, which is 3. So that is true. And then it says the point 30, 10 would be included on this line. So if I go over 30, up 10, does that look like? So that would be like a height up, because that's my 10. And that does not look like it would be in my line, so no. Okay, look at number 14. Does this equation represent direct variation? No, because it starts at -5. If you were to type this in your calculator, 2x minus 5, it looks like this. It does not go through the origin. So I know that this is not direct variation. It looks something like that. Okay, it says, does this equation direct variation? Y equals 2x. So yes, this one is direct variation because there's no plus or minus. And again, if we type it in our calculator, I could just take away the -5. It's a linear line and it goes through the origin. Okay, let's look at number 16. So we need to put this in our table. So it says determine the correlation coefficient. Anytime you see anything talking about moderate, weak, strong, we know it's a scatter plot. The sucky thing about scatter plots is we have to type in every single point. So we're going to type in every single one. 61. Now to my y's. Okay, and I have to do my y1 squiggle. Okay. So I know that r equals 0.8952. So we're never looking at r squared, we're only looking at r. Okay, that's my correlation coefficient. So this is what I had. So first off, I know that's strong because anything over 0.8 is strong. So I can cross off weak and moderate. And I know that if I rounded this, it's going to be 0.90, not 0.8. That's really far away. So 0.90 strong. Okay, looking at number 17, it says which graph has a slope undefined. So if we remember slope dude, it's positive, negative, nose, no. Okay, so I know that undefined is his nose because that's a U underneath. So it's going to be a vertical line, which is graph 4. Okay, now it says 18 says which graph has a slope of 0. So remember his mouth has the zeros. So it's a horizontal line, which is graph 3. Which is the equation. So here I think it's super important when you're trying to find the equation of a special case. I want you to plot 3 points. So 1, 2, 3. And I know that's negative 2, 1, 0, 1. Remember, height is your y, so I'm going up 1, that's why it's 1, and then 2, 1. Doesn't matter which 3 points, but I want you to notice y matches every single time, and y always equals 1. So that's my equation, y equals 1. Look at number 20. What are the equations and slope of this line? So I know what are the equations and slope of this line. So again, build a table. So 3 points, 1, 2, 3, and I have 3, 2, 3, 0, 3, negative 2. So this time I notice that the x's match and they all equal 3. And I know that it's vertical, it's the nose of slope dude, so it's undefined. So x equals 3 and my slope is undefined, not 0, not 0, x equals 3, slope is undefined. Okay, let's look at 21. It says the following scatter plot shows Pam's training as she prepares to run a 6-mile race at the end of the month. Which of the following would be a reasonable approximation for the length of time it would take for her to run 6 miles? So anytime it wants us to predict, we're drawing a trend line. Okay, and it says take her to run 6 miles. So distance is my x. So I'm looking for where x is 6. Here's x is 6. And I notice that it's somewhere right above 60. So I'm looking for my closest answer, which is just 60. Okay, looking at 22. Again, it's asking for a prediction. Gold's Gym is looking to buy 10 TVs. How much would it cost? So again, draw our trend line. Okay, and it wants to know 10 TVs. So it's going to be about $1,000, which is here. Okay, look at 23. Where is T? Here's T. And I want you to realize, remember we write points x comma y. X is my side to side, y is my height. So I go from the center, here's 0, 0. So I went left 3, so negative 3, comma, down 2, which is negative 2. .24. What is the ordered pair for point A? Again, what's the point? That's all it's asking. So I went right 2, because remember, x is my side to side, and I did not move heights. It stayed in the middle, so it's 0. So 2, 0. Okay, look at number 25. It says the table shows the distance a balloon traveled from the ground. The balloon traveled at a constant rate according to the table. What is the rate of speed of the balloon? So we're just looking for the slope. The rate is slope. So I'm going to fix my table. I can do x is 4, y is 17. Remember, top is x, bottom is y. 10 and 35. We're going to do bottom minus top, so 35 minus 17 is 18. And then 10 minus 4 is 6. So I know I have this. So I have to do change in y, which is 18, over change in x, which is 6, and that equals 3. So I know that it's not 4.25, and in between these two, but I know it's y per x, So distance, so feet per second, not seconds per feet. I know this is beautiful. Okay, it says the vertical and horizontal change between the 2 points are labeled. Which value represents the slope of the line? So I know that I rise 4, run 5, so it's 4/5. Equals 4/5. 27. I'm given 2 points. It says the points are plotted on the grade which equation in slope-intercept form best represents the lines that plots to these 2 points. So we're going to build a table. And we're going to put those 2 points. So -1, 5, and 4, -3. And we are going to use y1 squiggle. So I'm going to build a table. And we're going to do the y1 squiggle. Okay, so here's my M and my B. Now, I want you to realize those are decimals, so I'm going to write them down. M equals -1.6, B equals 3.4, and we're going to turn them into fractions. So -1.6, turn it into a fraction, is -8/5. 3.4, turn it into a fraction, is 17/5. So now back to my paper. So I wrote all that down, okay? And I know my equation is y equals m, which is -8/5. X always comes after m, plus 17/5. So I know -8/5 is my slope. Not this, and that's -5/8, so that's not it either. So again, remember, your answer choices might be in a different order than mine, so make sure you're paying attention to the actual answer, not the letter. That wasn't my bad for printing it separately or differently. Okay, this one says describe the relationship between the variables. Well, I know that first off, if I drew a trend line, it's going to look something like this. So I know that this is not strong, sorry, negative. So that says positive, that says positive, so I know those are wrong. And now it's deciding if we think it's weak or strong. So how close, how far do you think it is from the graph? And we're going to say weak because they are a little more spread out. If they were all kind of this close, that'd be different, but you've got this piece right here that spreads them out. Now here, if I drew a correlation line, trend line, look how close they all are. So this is strong, not weak, and it's positive. It's going up from left to right. Strong, positive. 30. Which table does y vary directly as x? So remember, in tables, we're gonna find our ky divided by x. Now this right here goes 0, 1. It doesn't go through 0, 0, so I know that's not true. Here I'm gonna do 2 divided 1 is 2. 10 divided 3 is not 2. 10 divided by 3 is 3.3 repeating. Let's see, 10 divided 3. Look at me go. It's not the same. They don't match. So this is not direct variation. Okay, y divide x, so 5 divide 15 simplifies to 1/3. 10 divide 30 simplifies to 1/3. 20 divided by 60, I believe, also simplifies to 1/3. We can always check our work. 20 divide 60. Yep, 1/3. So I know that these all equal 1/3. Therefore, this is direct variation because they all match. Last but not least, I know that this does not go through the origin, so that is not direct variation. Okay, look at 31. Kelsey had 100 rocks before joining the rock club at school. After joining the rock club, Kelsey collected 25 rocks per week. What equation best represents? So I know that she started with 100 and she added $25 per, or sorry, not dollars, 25 rocks per week. So I know that's where my X goes. So that 100 should not have an X. And I'm not negative. I never had negative rocks. So 25x plus 100. Now this is way too many plus signs. So this order, you can flip it. As long as the 25 is positive and the 100 is positive. Whoa, okay, we're going to put these points in our scatter plot. And it answers a bunch of questions, so we can just kind of leave it in there. So I'm going to start putting it in 24. Sorry, I'm typing them so slow because I'm working around the camera. Okay, so there's all my points. And so it asks me the table below, or the table shown is comparing a person's foot length to their height in centimeters. Which correlation? So we need to see this, which I already have typed in, so I don't have to retype it, but I need to hit this zoom fit. So when I click that, here we go. So I see that this is strong and it's positive. It's going up from left to right. So this is strong positive. But look, it's the same table, so we don't have to retype it. We're just going to keep answering questions. It says the table compares the foot height. What is a correlation coefficient? What's R? So I got to go back to my graph. R equals 0.9855, which if you notice is one of my exact answer choices. So there's my answer. So again, same table. We don't have to retype it. It says the table shown is comparing yada yada. Use the regression equation to estimate the height when the foot length is 28. So foot length is, so their height is y, so foot length is x. So I'm looking for x equals 28. So we're going to come here, we're going to type x equals 28, and we're going to see where they touch. So it's 181, so I'm going to write y equals 181.032. And if I look at my answer choices, and if I had to round this to a whole number, I know 181 is my answer. Almost done. Look at 35, sorry, skipping. It says the graph of a linear function is shown on the grid. Determine the value of m in the equation y equals mx plus b for this line. So two things. You can build a table because we're just finding slopes. So this point is 0, -2. This point is 1, 2, 3, down 1. So 3, -1. So you can do y minus 1, whatever. You can also do rise over run. You can do y1 squiggle. So I'm going to do rise over run. So rise 1, and 1, 2, 3. And I know my slope is 1/3. and it's positive. It's going up from left to right. So right away, I should be able to cross off the negatives, and it's up 1 over 3. Okay, so same concept. This is saying the graph of a linear function is shown. Now this time it says b. What is my b? Well, b is just where it touches the y-axis. This is my y to the sky. So where did it touch? It touched at -2. So b is -2. Now if it was asking for it as a point, I want you to realize that is 0, -2. Your y-intercept is where x equals 0. Okay, good luck on your test. If you have questions, bring them to me before class. Have a great day. Bye-bye.